Okay, so picking up from our point that there's one circle, you'll often be asked in questions like how to order a fraction. And often students get stuck on this because the numbers seem big and small and you're not sure how they relate. So I want us to look at how can we remember that. So as we've been saying, quite simply, if we ask to describe the circle, we know that it's round, there are no edges, but most of all, there's only one. So if there's only one, if we have less than one, what is that? So let's just think about what less than one is. So if we just put that on the side there, what is less than one? Well, less than one is a fraction. Yeah? And a fraction is a portion of something. And circles actually really allow you to see this quite clearly. So if we look at this for now, this circle, and we're gonna split it up, and we're gonna look at what the numbers do. So let's put a line. We're gonna split it in half, essentially. So let's choose that color. So let's go, okay. Oops, so there we go. Sorry, gone a little bit wonky. Let's do that again. That's technology, work with me. Perfect when I've practiced. So there we go. Okay, so there we have, do we have one now, or do we have more than one? So here we obviously have more than one, okay? We have more than one, and that more than one is actually 2. We have 2, 2. But is the 2 whole? So they're whole pieces, but they make up part of the 1. Of the 1. So we know here that we have one part here and one part here. So we have 2, sorry, go away, 2 halves. So let's now think about splitting it up a little bit more. We'll do it individually. Let's get pink. Let's go back here. Sorry, let's take that off again. We need to be accurate. Okay. Now, how many parts have we got? We've got one part here, one part here, one part here, and one part here. So if we just look at this circle again, yeah? Let's make this a little bit over here. We've got 4 parts, okay? And we know that those 4 parts, there are 4 parts out of 4, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4. So there are 4 parts at the top, and there are 4 parts out of. So if we coloured one part, which I actually don't know if I can do, but I'm going to give it a go. Let's do it in pink. I'm going to colour it now. Okay, so don't evaluate my colouring. Okay, so we know how many parts are coloured now. We know that there is 1 part coloured, right? And that would be out of 4. Now, I know that you probably know this, but it's important to think about this when you're doing fractions, okay? So now if let's colour another part. Now we know that there are 2 parts out of 4, yeah? So we could carry on like that, and we can colour them in, and we know that we could get 3 parts out of 4, and then 4 parts out of 4, okay? So let's just take this bit off for a second, right? What happens now to the number, all right, if we then split this circle up again, if we split these quarters and we halve them, okay? So let me just take the colour out and let's write that down. Okay. What happens if we half the, well, it's the quarters, but you can either just think about it as the parts or parts. Yeah, doesn't really matter for this. For what we're doing right now, it doesn't really matter. We just need to think about it visually. That's all you will need to think about. So are the numbers going to get bigger or smaller? Text, put that down here. Are the numbers sorry, no typing skills today, going to get bigger or smaller? And that means, is the quarter going to get bigger or smaller? So that's what we're thinking about right now. So you might even know the answer, but now that what you're doing is you're looking at it visually, which is very, very different. And that will help you when you're doing these questions, when they ask you to order things. So let's choose another color. We'll choose red. So if I want to halve these, I take a line and I go, if I do it properly, obviously, go here. I put a line there. And let's do it all the way around and then let's look at it actually. Let's just keep on with the same lines. I'm not sure what's gone on there. Try again. That's the one. Oops. There. Okay, so now how many pieces have we got? We've got one. Got one. So I'm not going to do it that way. Let's do it here. Let's take my pointy thing. Got one. Where's it gone? Where's my pointy thing gone? Let's do it in colour. Okay, let's just see how many there are. We'll do it in yellow. We've got one here, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now forgive me for not writing the number down, but it's just too, it's so awkward to do it without a proper whiteboard pen. But we've now got 8 pieces, right? Let's just move some of this around for you. Move that up there. Move that to there for a minute because I want to do this for you. So we now have 8 pieces. In that colour where you can see it. Oops, always the way. We now have, still can't type that for the life of me. We now have 8 pieces. And if we count them all, we've got 8 in total. So we have 8 out of 8 pieces. So if we go back to the question, are the numbers going to get bigger or smaller? What's happened to the numbers? The numbers have clearly got bigger. So we know the answer to that particular part of the question. Are the numbers going to get bigger or smaller? The numbers have got, Miss Collins, gosh, got bigger. Thank you, we got bigger. Now if we look at this question, is the quarter going to get bigger or smaller? Well, the quarter isn't there anymore. What's happened to the quarter? Not sure what's doing there. Let's take that off. Let's just think about this for a second. So let's, yeah, we'll use a different color because I want you to really see this. Okay, so we know we've got these, they're 8s, yeah, because we know there's 8 of them, and the quarters are still there, right? we can still see the quarters. So how many quarters, sorry, how many eighths are there in each part of the quarter? Well, we can see that there are 2, yeah? So as this number gets bigger, the size of it gets smaller. Let's write that down. As the fraction gets bigger, or the portion, do it in a different way. As the number gets bigger, portion or fraction gets smaller. And what that means is that a quarter is bigger, see what I mean? Honestly, than an eighth. So you always have to think, the smaller the number is, the bigger, the smaller the number is, the bigger the size. And the bigger the number is, the smaller the size. And you can see that there visually. So I hope that that was helpful. And what we're going to do now is we're going to look at some problems from the functional skills level maths 1 paper, where you have to apply this kind of ordering of fractions into larger and smaller in everyday situations. I hope that was helpful. And I'm just going to go back to the whiteboard again. Sorry, I'm just doing this. And we'll continue. And you can always come back and re-record.